Welcome back to Macabre London's Abhorrent Advent Calendar. As you'll be aware if you've already joined me for the past 8 episodes, I'm counting down the days until Christmas, but not in the usual joyful way you may expect. Instead, I'll be telling you 24 gruesome stories until we hit Christmas Day, when you'll receive a full-length episode of Macabre London as your hideous Christmas present from me to you. Under door number 8, we found Malia Molino from Macabre Mondays and learned about her 13 Days of Creepmas giveaway on Instagram, which if you've yet to check out, then what are you doing? Head on over right now to get some great goodies. You've still got a few days left to join in. Today, we're back to inducing festive fear and ruining even more of your Christmas favourites. Have you ever wondered how Rudolph got his powers of flight? The truth may be something which you're not quite ready to hear, and which may give you nightmarish visions anytime you hear the patter of tiny hooves. Today, we open door number 9 and meet Sleipnir.
Ho, ho, ho.
When you think of the Vikings, it's hard to not instantly think of pillaging, plundering, and the spilling of buckets of blood. What rarely springs to mind is their love of all things festive. The Christmas we celebrate today evolved from Yule, a pagan celebration, which saw the Norsemen throwing an almighty party to commemorate and bid farewell to the longest night, welcoming in the more prosperous and fruitful longer days that were to come. Over the cold and dark long winter days, Vikings would sit around the fire, telling tales of the old gods. These old stories have evolved into many traditions that are still carried out in Scandinavian countries to this day, and Yule is still celebrated at the winter solstice. A feast of decorated and baked ham is served as a nod to Tsar Imna, an immortal pig who lived in Valhalla, the home of the gods. Every day the pig would be caught and stuffed in a pot and boiled alive, as it was feasted upon leisurely throughout the day, as an unending food source for the hungry deities. The next day the pig would appear replenished, ready to live out its suffering for another day. I'm sure there's a joke in there about Groundhog Day, but I'm too grossed out to make one. Other pagan rituals of the winter solstice involved gathering around a special fire. The largest log would be picked from the woodpile, and in some instances be decorated and scented with pine and other fragrant plants to welcome back the return of the sun on the shortest day but the longest night. The thought being that this Yule log would burn through the night until all that remained was its glowing embers when the sun was to rise the next day. Nowadays, the burning of the Yule log has been replaced by eating a Yule log-shaped chocolate cake, which is far more delicious than burning some wood. For the Vikings, the season of Yule was all about Odin, one of the more significant gods in Norse mythology. Odin began going by the name of Yule Father during midwinter, and over time, the bastardization of the phrase was enacted by the English, giving us Father Christmas, a name we still use today, but which is slowly being ousted in favour of the American Santa. Odin, who had 2 pet ravens, would send them into the towns to suss out who had been good and who had been bad. When the ravens reported on their observations, the god would gather together gifts for the good ones and summon up bad luck for the rest. To deliver his congratulatory trinkets, Odin would surf the skies on his trusty steed, Sleipnir. Sleipnir, riding high across the frosty black night sky, would have been quite a sight to see, and a terrifying one at that. The majestic equine had not 4 legs like a usual horse, but 8. His teeth were made of runes, and due to his extra legs, he was the fastest horse ever to be known. There is some contention about the Arachnid Horse and his 8 legs, and nowadays the extra appendages may have been misread from the picture stones which the Vikings left behind to commemorate their dead. The extra 4 legs of Sleipnir, depicted on the ancient stones, may have well been struts holding up dead horses that were slain in battle. Equally, to please the gods, horses may have well been sacrificed to appease them, and then displayed upon frames so the deities could visit and feed upon them. Human sacrifices were also a very occasional offering to Odin and his friends, with corpses being hung from trees after execution so his ravens could feed upon them and take them back to Valhalla. I would say this is how we got the idea for Christmas decorations, but that might be a step too far, even for me. If you cast your mind back to door number 6, when we met Sinterklaas, the Dutch Santa, He is the evolutionary equivalent of the Neanderthal Santa, the step in between Odin and jolly old Saint Nick. The Dutch co-opted the Odin mythology and adapted it slightly to fit Christian morals. Sinterklaas can be seen riding a white horse as he enters into town, but opposed to the 8 legs of Sleipnir, he only has the regular 4. Another holdover from Sleipnir is the 8 reindeer Santa uses to pull his sleigh. The power of Sleipnir was so mighty that it can only be replaced by 8 fully grown reindeer. In the 1950s, Rudolph muscled his way into the gang, which makes the flight team up to 9 members, replacing the one mighty spider horse. This may just be coincidence, but it's certainly not as terrifying an idea. So this midwinter, keep your wits about you. If you begin to see ravens circling over your house or hear the clip-clop of hooves on your roof, be prepared for another year of bad luck. And let's face it, no one needs that after the year we've all had. Instead, I'm sure you could just make a teensy human sacrifice to appease the gods, and everything will be right as rain. Thank you for joining me for door number 9 of the Macabre London Abhorrent Advent Calendar. I'll be back tomorrow with door number 10, so make sure you join me then. Please like, comment, rate, review, share and subscribe on whatever platform you're enjoying this on, and come and say hi on my social media. And don't forget to tell your friends if you think they'd enjoy the Advent Calendar. If you'd like to help support the show, then you can do so by signing up to my Patreon, buying a gift from the Amazon wishlist, or making a one-off donation via the Acast supporter link. The links for all of these are in the show notes and description. Thanks for joining me. I've been Nikki Druce, and I'll see you for door number 10 tomorrow.